Donald Trump went on an Asian tour where he plans to sign a whole series of economic agreements. But the most high-profile event of the day for Donald Trump is that Trump joined the signing of a peace agreement between Cambodia and Thailand during the Southeast Asian Countries Summit in Malaysia, where Trump arrived today. But behind the news about the peace agreement, there is much more. Trump has already signed several economic agreements with 3 countries, which provide the United States with access to rare earth metals bypassing China. Trump has already been showered with praise by Asian leaders, but ahead of him is the most important meeting with the Chinese leader Xi Jinping. And here too, there was a breakthrough because the Chinese side announced that the United States and China had reached a consensus on concluding a trade agreement. And Donald Trump's minister Scott Bessent stated that, as a result, a meeting between Donald Trump and Xi Jinping is already scheduled in the coming days to sign the deal. But before that, Trump will try to win over as many Southeast Asian countries to his side as possible. And in this episode, we will analyze some not so obvious details of the news that Cambodia and Thailand have signed a peace agreement. My name is Alexei Pechi. Today is October 26th according to the calendar. Let's discuss this topic together. It's a very rich one, but before we start this episode, I ask you to subscribe to this channel, give it a like, and leave any comment under this episode. Also, subscribe to my Telegram channel, Pechi News. The link to it is in the description of this video. There we post breaking news as it comes in. And if you want to support the work of this YouTube channel, you can do so with any donation using the links and details in the description of this video. It says there, support the channel Alexei Pechi. Choose any format that is convenient for you, whether it's a donation, sponsorship, or a paid subscription. I will be grateful for any support from you. So today the biggest news from Trump's visit to Malaysia is that the Prime Ministers of Cambodia and Thailand, with the mediation of Trump and the Prime Minister of Malaysia, signed a peace agreement putting an end to the war. In short, let me remind you that in July, tensions on the border between Cambodia and Thailand escalated into a 5-day conflict, resulting in the deaths of dozens of civilians and hundreds of thousands of people becoming displaced. Trump took credit for resolving this conflict. The initial ceasefire agreement, brokered by Malaysia, was signed on July 28. After the United States president held phone talks with the leaders of both sides and warned them that he would not make a trade deal. Cambodia and Thailand have more than 800 kilometers of disputed border, most of which was mapped by Cambodia's former colonial ruler, that is France, more than 100 years ago. But both sides are still disputing this border. But let me clarify a bit. The document signed by the neighboring countries, Cambodia and Thailand, which Trump called a peace treaty or peace agreement, is essentially neither a treaty nor an agreement. The document's full official name is Joint Declaration of the Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Cambodia and the Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Thailand following their meeting in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. If we delve a little deeper into the specifics of diplomatic terminology, we will find out that, according to international standards and data from the United Nations, treaties have a much higher status and are governed by international law, whereas declarations are often used when the parties do not intend to create legally binding obligations, but simply want to state certain aspirations. So, sorry for being so meticulous, that's just my trade. I like to dig into these little details a bit. But the declaration between Cambodia and Thailand includes commitments to further de-escalate tensions. Southeast Asian observer groups will verify the removal of heavy weapons and equipment from the border and the demining of the area. And Bangkok has committed to releasing Cambodian prisoners of war. It's also important to note that historically, Thailand is a treaty ally of the United States, and therefore the Thai armed forces maintain quite close ties with the American military. But Cambodia, in recent years, has been closely cooperating with China. For example, this year, it held 7 rounds of military exercises together with the Chinese. Formally, it appears the United States came out on top in terms of patronage. If you look at the situation objectively, you'll see that Trump himself needed this peace deal for other purposes. According to Trump, along with the signed peace agreement between Cambodia and Thailand, the United States will sign important economic agreements with both countries. And now listen closely, listen to the quote from Donald Trump. "We are also signing a major trade agreement with Cambodia and a very important critical mineral supply agreement with Thailand. The United States will have active trade relations and cooperation, numerous transactions with both countries, as long as they live in peace." Yes, friends. Trump signed an agreement with Thailand on access to critical minerals in which the United States currently depends on China. So, in this way, Trump is showing that he is ready to pave the way for the United States to be less dependent on rare earth metal supplies from China in the future. According to a joint statement released by the White House on Sunday, the United States and Thailand have agreed on a trade agreement framework aimed at expanding market access, strengthening supply chains, and deepening economic cooperation. Under the agreement, Thailand has lifted tariffs on 99% of goods from the United States, while the United States is removing 19% of tariffs, and will provide duty-free access for certain types of Thai products. Thailand also agreed to purchase about $2.6 billion worth of American agricultural products annually, $5.4 billion worth of energy resources, and 80 American aircraft worth nearly $19 billion. As for rare earth metals, a separate agreement is expected to be concluded. Next, Trump plans to visit Japan and South Korea and sign some details of trade agreements with them as well. And then he will also go to a possible meeting with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un before meeting with Chinese leader Xi Jinping. And right before meeting with Xi Jinping, Trump goes ahead and signs an agreement with Cambodia and Malaysia for access to crucial minerals, specifically rare earth metals. Against this backdrop, the long-awaited trade deal with China may also be signed. As you already understand, in the coming days, Trump will finally meet with Xi Jinping. This will happen on Thursday. And now Chinese state media have reported that United States and Chinese trade negotiators have reached a basic consensus on how to address their respective issues after talks today in Kuala Lumpur. It is known that today a delegation led by Vice Premier of the State Council of China, Heli Fen, met with United States officials, including United States Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and Trade Representative Jameson Greer. Today, Trump openly praised Greer. So today, Bessent is already stating that an escalation of tariffs against China is basically ruled out. President Donald Trump, let me remind you, threatened China with the introduction of additional 100% tariffs starting November 1st due to Beijing's attempts to impose export controls on critically important rare earth metals. But today, Bessent said the situation changed after talks with the Chinese. Quote, "I expect that the threat of 100% export control has disappeared, as has the threat of China immediately introducing a global export control regime. In general, it is expected that a trade deal will also be made with the Chinese, and it can be said that Donald Trump's Asian tour was more than successful. But what's also interesting is that against this background, Trump made it absolutely clear that he is not going to meet with Putin, the Russian leader. He says, I don't want to waste time on this. He only says, when I see something, when I'm sure they're ready for peace, that's when we can meet. And this really undermines any position the Kremlin has. But I'll talk about relations with China in more detail in the next episode. To be continued. I'll leave it at that for now. Share your opinions and conclusions in the comments under this episode, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, and don't forget to like. That's all for now. Take care everyone. Goodbye.